Hello, everyone. Welcome to RotoWire Fantasy Football Live Start Sit Sunday, Week 3. We'll get everybody's questions answered, give you a why so you can make your best decision. Also, next 3 weeks, weeks 4, 5, and 6, we have Sunday games in the morning at 9:30 Eastern. So those weeks, we're going to be doing this stream on Saturdays at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. So I'll make that a point throughout the week to let everybody know that, but understand, because those games, we never compete with the NFL. When they're on, we'll be doing our show on Saturday. So make sure you catch me then. Again, I'll post that on at Jim Coventry NFL. Please give me a follow if you can do that. It'd be much appreciated. All right. RotoWire has a text insider, and basically our company has some opportunities for get extra information from our experts, and that will be posted in a link how to get access to that. But there are a few questions from RotoWire insiders. I'm going to read these. They won't show up on the screen. There's 4 questions I'm going to get from insiders, and I'm going to get theirs, and then we'll get to the questions that everybody asked. I'm starting a couple minutes early for that purpose. So Michael Lopez asks, with Jalen Waddle out with a concussion, he needs 2: Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins, and Tutu Atwell. So Collins right now to me is a must start, and he's running alpha style routes, and I'm not very Tyson Campbell's a good corner, but the way he's running in breakers and he's getting created yards after the catch through Bobby Slowick, the OC, I think CJ Stroud looks for him. I think that's a great opportunity. Also, I think we definitely go with Garrett Wilson here because the Patriots are down 3 cornerbacks. So Bill Belichick could do all he wants to take away the quarterback, but the problem is he has no bodies. He has rookie Christian Gonzalez, Jalen Mills, who's an aging veteran and not what he once was. So I just don't think that Belichick has the bodies to deal with Wilson. Although if you're nervous about Wilson, you can consider Atwell. He's getting 7 and 9 targets over the last 2 games. But I'm going to say Wilson and Collins will go there. And then Kenneth Kirk asks, Nakua or Gus Edwards? Got to go Nakua here. The target share is outrageous. Look, Sean McVay's a genius. He is scheming him open. All Nakua has to do is do what the coach tells him to do, and he's going to fall into 10 targets, it looks like, without a problem. Cincinnati won't have an answer for it. It's Sean McVay all day long. So we're going to go Sean McVay, Puka Nakua. Andy Dahlquist asks, Elijah Moore or Marquise Brown? Dallas is going to have a ton of pressure on Joshua Dobbs, and I don't know how he's going to be able to get the ball to Marquise Brown. I know Trevon Diggs up. They still have Stephon Gilmore. They still have blanket coverage they're going to use. Elijah Moore has not been productive, but he's had a lot of touches. They're going to need him more. Tennessee can't cover on the back end, and I do think Elijah Moore is a better play. And then Jalen Warren or Khalil Herbert, you know what? Both are having – Warren's supposed to see more work for what that's worth. But I do think Warren is seeing a little more volume as a receiver. It's 50-50. I'm going to go with Warren, but if you have a gut feel, go with it. Herbert is losing too much passing down work to Roschon. And then Darrell Norman asks, James Cook or Kenneth Walker? And, both are very good plays, but Walker is still without those 2 offensive tackles. And we notice he's had 2 touchdowns, but he didn't really go off in any game. So James Cook is in a great spot here. Washington's a great pass rush, but I think there's going to be plenty of room for him to run. All right, we are going to open up Instagram as well now, and then everybody who has questions will start getting to those. We open up Instagram here and get this started. All right, so Nick Joseph, we'll start you off here. I need 2 of 4, Rachaad White, Jerome Ford, Zach Moss, Josh Kelly. So Josh Kelly's a good play this week. The reason I like him is that the Chargers still can't stop the run, and they're going to drop a bunch of bodies back, so he's going to have plenty of room to run. And Jerome Ford is a nightmare matchup against Tennessee. I'm predicting for about 40-ish yards just because of the matchup. We usually avoid Tennessee unless we have an elite back. Rachaad White, they're playing Philadelphia. There could be volume there, and the spine of that defense is in a lot of trouble. Although I do like Zach Moss. They're playing Baltimore on the road, a little tougher of a matchup. So I'm going to say Kelly and Rachaad White. And if you have a nervous feeling about Rachaad White, you could go Zach Moss. I'm going to sit Ford this week, and then Keenan Allen. And no, so I wouldn't worry about whoever's in the lineup. That game's going to shoot out. Eric Royo, morning. All right, see who you got here. You've got early show. Thank you for listening to the SiriusXM show this morning. We love that one. And you need to flex to Atwell or Gabe Davis. Woods right now has to be an every week start. The volume is going to be there. He's an underneath target, and they're going to use it without the offensive line. They're on 4 linemen again, so he's going to be fine. Atwell is going to get you more targets. And Gabe Davis has continued to be like kind of boomer bust. But as long as Cooper Kupp is out, I think you got to go at Atwell. The targets are higher. The explosive plays are going to eventually be there. Davis had the touchdown last week, so that was good. Let's see on Instagram, morning Instagram. Connor asks Kendre Miller or Khalil Herbert or Delvin Cook. Oh, that's a good one. Cook's getting snap share. Herbert is like losing out like touches. He's not getting a lot of touches. Kendre Miller, we don't quite know what we're getting. He's been hurt all preseason. He's finally healthy and he's going. I think the safest play of the three, Cook against the Patriots isn't bad, but I'm going to say if you really want to roll the dice here against Green Bay, who's typically not a good run defense, I know they were fighting against the Bears, but the Bears kind of stink. I would lean toward Miller here. But if in his first game you're nervous, I would consider giving Cook's to get some screen passes here. Anthony Thomas starts it. Mahomes or Goff. You know what? I know Mahomes has not been great in the first 2 games, but I'm not sitting him. The Bears can't cover. The Bears are down Eddie Jackson. They're down one of their top 3 corners, Kyler Gordon, I believe, and they bring no pass rush. So you know what? You'll kick yourself if Mahomes throws for 405 touchdowns. Goff certainly is great at home. We always love Jared Goff at home, but I just don't think we make the case for sitting Mahomes. If Mahomes had a nightmare matchup, there would be a world we might consider, but the Bears, certainly not that. Screwball, good morning to you as well. Evan Ingram or Hunter Henry? Yeah, I know Hunter Henry's on fire right now. 6 targets each game. He scored twice last week. I believe he scored twice overall each game. He's been insane. And the Jets can be beat in the middle of the field. And I think it's game plan specific for Henry, but this would be the game plan. They continue rolling with that. Evan Ingram's going to get targets. Evan Ingram is always going to be safer because we never know the week where the New England coaching staff is going to say, all right, we're doing this week, as opposed to the last 2 weeks where the middle of the field was really the plan of attack that I thought they would have. So Ingram is always going to be safer because Henry for no reason could drop at any point. So if you want to be safe, Ingram, but right now, the way Henry's playing, he's hard to sit. I'm going to go with the safe play here. And Houston's down their free safety, Jalen Petrie, and I think that helps a little bit too. Bialy, Breece Hall, Damian Pierce, or Ford. You know, Breece Hall, I would go back to Breece Hall here. Last week, Dallas they were just a buzzsaw. And New England is good, obviously, and Dwayne Brown, the left tackle, is out. But I think Breece Hall is going to get way more work than he got last week. Damian Pierce just needs to get his line back. He's down 4 linemen, and it just works too hard against him. And that's my nerve. And Ford just has a nightmare matchup. All right, let's see. We got an Insta here. You can see here. Kevin George, Jacoby Myers, or Addison. You know, the Jacoby Myers, when everybody listen to this one, Jacoby Myers in the opener, I bet the under on Devontae Adams because Patrick Surtain I knew would like blanket him. And you know, Adams is okay, 66 yards, but it wasn't anything special. I knew that Jimmy Garoppolo would see the tight windows that Surtain was going to present, and I knew he would go to his other options. Well, that option was Jacoby Myers, and Myers went off. Now, this week, Pittsburgh will not have that on Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams goes back to hogging the targets, and Addison's gotten it done 2 games in a row, and they're playing the Chargers, who haven't stopped anybody. I don't want to overthink this. Addison, 75-25 on that one. And Mav Waterman, need 3 of 5. Kyren Williams, Madison, Kelly, Higgins, or Gus. So Kelly has a great matchup. We're going to go with that. Madison in the same game. Man, the Chargers can't stop anything on the ground still. So we're going to go with that one. The last 2, I'm going to go with Higgins over Kyren Williams here. The reason being, Cincinnati be tougher against the run, but Higgins is going to get targets. Even if Browning is the quarterback, he's the guy that's going to be the possession guy. And in the Rams, I have no corner to deal with him. Like Gus most weeks, but they're playing Indy this week, so we'll pass on that one. Henry, see what you got here. You got 1 running back in the flex. Stevenson, Cook, Kelly, and St. Brown. St. Brown's playing with a steel plate in his shoe due to a toe injury. He's supposed to play. We'll certainly check the inactives as I'm doing this stream. I have no access to those. But I'm going to say right now, if Brown plays, I think you got to play him. And Stevenson against the Jets. Jets are tougher against the pass. They're good against the run. Stevenson's going to get targets. And so I'm going to say Kelly has a great matchup too. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to play St. Brown as my flex. At the running back, Kelly is the safest of them all. He is the safest. He is probably going to get you 75 yards here. Stevenson is a little more boom bust. I think he can have a good game, but it's also possible that the Jets come out just trying to load everything up and create a lot of pressure up at the line. So Stevenson's your boom bust play, but if you want a safe, you should get double-digit points out of Kelly. So I'm going to say Kelly and St. Brown. But again, if your gut says Stevenson, trust your gut there because Stevenson can have a big game at any time. I just don't know that it happens here. And then Henry goes Fields or Tua. Yeah. So look, here's the thing. Fields could go off. Fields could shake off. I think he's going to shake off the coaching staff and be like, nope, I'm done listening to your crap. I'm doing my own thing. I'm going to run. I'm going to make plays. And I think he's going to do that. But Tua, they're playing Denver. Denver is down a bunch of people. Both safeties are down. They're missing some pass rushers. They're playing in the Florida heat. They're probably going to slow down. I know there's no Jalen Waddle, but I just think that Tua is safer right now. But Tua, I don't know that Tua has an enormous ceiling without Waddle. So Tua's safe, and he's going to get you a good 20 points. If you need to shoot for the moon and you're going to go boom bust, then you consider Fields. If you need 30, 35 out of your quarterback, which we don't frequently get, I think Fields could have that crazy game. But again, the coaching staff could have harped on him all week, and we could see what we saw the last 2 weeks. So Tua is way safer. Instagram, see what else we got here. King Love, 3 out of the 5. Aaron Jones, Connor, Javonte Williams. I don't see 1, 2. I see 3 listed. It says 3 out of 5. So I'm not quite sure of those 3. If Aaron Jones is active, he's number 1. Connor, tough matchup, but he's still number 2 in this. Javonte's a distant number 3 in this one. He just is getting basic 4 yards a carry, not doing much at the receptions. Bialy, Christian Watson, Dotson, or Atwell. So if Christian Watson plays, they're playing the Saints. Saints are playing really well in the secondary. Now, the speed is something that Watson has that they really, I don't know that they have the answer. They're more of a physical group. So I think Watson would be the one to go with here. Dotson he's getting some targets, but he's just not getting us the volume. Buffalo's going to be a tougher matchup for him. Atwell, we love the targets, 7 and 9 targets. He's getting it done. I just don't think if Christian Watson plays, and again, make sure he's active, then you start Christian Watson. I believe you have to go with him. He's a star player. You finally got him in the lineup. I think you need to use him. Dingo Eater, you need 2 1s and a flex. Moss, Kelly, it says Brees Hall or Drake London. All right, so I'm going to rank them this way. I'm going to rank Kelly at the top of this group because of his matchup. I am going to rank, I always get scared of Drake London, but he did see targets last week. Now maybe it evaporates. I'm going to put London number 2, and Detroit is down to safety Kirby Joseph and a corner Emmanuel Mosley. I'm going to go 3rd. I'm going to go with Brees Hall. And then 4th, Moss. I love Moss. Loved them last week. The matchup is a little bit scary this week against Baltimore. So that's the way I'll go with that. And then we have a Chase or Pittman. My God, it's a good question. You're right. If Burrow's playing, he's not getting the downfield passing game going, so it takes that away. Pittman has a great matchup. He's been getting targets. I have to say Pittman. And it's 55-45, but if your gut says Chase, go with. But right now, the 2 40-yard games, I don't see that improving right now. And it's not like the Rams are a bad match or an easy matchup, but if they're not getting it downfield, but what I've seen in the quarterback situation, I have to go Pittman. But man, it's so hard to sit Chase. That's what I'll tell you. Royal, half PPR or bonus based on distance, Gabe Davis or Garrett Wilson. So Gabe Davis faces Washington. They're going to get a lot of pressure probably on Josh Allen here. Corners, I don't know how much he'll see of the rookie, Forbes, but Forbes is like a real risky player, which is good for him. But Garrett Wilson, the only thing I see here is I would not have yesterday it would have been Gabe Davis or 2 days ago. 3 corners are out for the Patriots. I don't think they can do the game designed to take him out, and I think they're going to force him targets. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson, but if your gut says Gabe Davis, I totally get it. Delroy, Goddard, or Ertz. So look, Ertz has 6 catches in each game. He doesn't do anything yardage-wise, but he gets you 6 points plus the yardage. So it's 8 to 10 PPR points every game. Now, Goddard had 6 catches last week, didn't do anything. They had a mini bye. I think there's something to be said for that. The weakest point of Tampa is the middle of the defense, though. They got the corners, Dean and Carlton Davis, and so that's going to make it a little rough for the receivers. So when I screwed it up. Yeah. So, realistically, not that we're worried about the receivers in Philly. They're superstars. But I think the middle of the field is going to be open. I'm going to say Goddard here. Goddard had targets last week. And then Nico Collins, Zay Flowers, or DJ Moore, only one of those. DJ Moore got going last week, and I do believe that Justin Fields is going to shake off the coaching staff and keep going to him. Collins had 2 ridiculous games, and there's no he's going to be a great player all year, I think. On the road at Jacksonville, I think it's a little tougher of a matchup for him. And I think maybe, but Collins is safest. I think Collins is going to be like the safest to get you 8 targets. I think he gets you 8 targets. Zay Flowers, we love. He's going to be heavily involved. I'm betting the over on his yardage prop. They're all great plays. I think the best combination of boom bust is DJ Moore, because I do think the offense gets going today because Justin Fields is pissed and he's going to get more of the ball. So, but it's close. Trust your gut, but I'm going DJ Moore. Check if any Instagram questions came up here. So King Love, so you'll give me these already. So the Kendre Miller and Gus Edwards don't change it at all. So we're going to keep it as, like I said, Aaron Jones 1, if he's active, Connor 2, Javonte 3. I'm going to go Gus 4 because it's a tougher matchup, but I get a lot of volume here because I don't see Melvin Gordon, Kenny Drake getting a mix. Kendre Miller, you've got good enough players where you can see what he can do first because he hasn't practiced much all offseason. Don't know what his game conditioning is. G-Money. Pacheco, you got to sit one. Pacheco, Madison, Thielen. I'm sitting Thielen. Andy Dalton doesn't need to force him the ball. Thielen can't get separation anymore. And last week, he got force-fed some targets, and he got lucky. But Andy Dalton's going to throw to DJ Chark, I think, in Mingo. They're going to be open, and Andy Dalton's going to let it rip to them. I don't think he force feeds Thielen at all because he doesn't need to. And they're facing Seattle, who doesn't have much of a pass rush. So I'm going to sit Thielen in this one. Pickens against the Raiders, I think that's as good as a matchup as he's going to get in a lot of his games. So we're going to go with that. Pacheco's supposed to be healthy. He gets the Bears. Madison, this is the last week he's relevant, I think, but he has a great matchup. And then I think Akers takes over. Goddard or Taysom Hill. I love it when Taysom Hill gets involved. But look, Goddard didn't do anything in week 1, but last week he did. He's a big part of that offense. I just think Hill is just way too unpredictable with his usage. Goddard, we know they intend for him to be a big part of it. So I'm going to go with Goddard. And then John Rubright, Fields or Stafford. Stafford gets Cincinnati. It's not a greybody matchup, but everybody schemed open. So I'm going to tell you what I told the other person. I think Fields shakes his coaches off this week and says, screw it. I'm doing what I need to do, not what you tell me to do. And I think he's going to be successful with that. So Fields, I think, has a way, way, way bigger ceiling. But if the coach staff really makes it tough on him and reins him in, we got a lot of – so he's boom bust. Stafford is going to get you 18 to 22 fantasy points. So if you want safe, go Stafford. But I do think Fields has it in him for a big game. I would start Fields here, but if you need the safety of Stafford, go ahead and do that. All right. Danny asks Mixon or Ford. Ford has a horrific matchup against Tennessee. Again, people you just don't run on them. If you're an explosive player, you might get that lucky 40-yard run, but that's not Ford's game. So, look, Joe Mixon, I know the Rams are playing way over their talent level, but Mixon should be just fine in this match. There's nothing scary about this match. He'll run away from Aaron Donald. He'll get his check downs. He may get more check downs in this game, even if Burrow or in a backup play, Burrow's calf and the backup just getting it out. Sideshow Mill, Garrett Wilson, or Myers. Again, with New England being down 3 corners, I don't think Belichick can do what he wants to do against Wilson here. So I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. I'm going to go with the superstar here. If you were around a while, you heard me explain with Myers. Week 1, I understood because Surtain was on Adams, and so Myers was just a check down, and it worked. John the God, Elijah Moore, Drake London. So Drake, I think Elijah Moore, he's been very involved. Now he finally gets an easy matchup. The first 2 weeks were tough matchups, and they're going to have to put more on their passing game plate here. I think Moore has a higher floor, but I think Drake London has the higher ceiling playing Detroit. Again, they're down Kirby Joseph, the safety. They're down Emmanuel Mosley, still at corners and played all year. So I think London has a bigger upside, but he also, if they just get in a run fit and they don't throw the ball, we could see that 0 at any time. So if you want to bank points, go with Moore. If you're willing to live with a potential low game, then London has more ceiling. Johnny Football, you need one. Zach Moss, Damian Pierce, Gus Edwards, or Jalen Warren. Pierce is now 4 linemen. Again, I love the player. He'll be fine as soon as he gets his team back. Zach Moss is kind of a tough matchup here for him. So I'm a little concerned about that at Baltimore. Gus Edwards. I do think Gus Edwards, and this is a tough matchup against Indy too. They have Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner in the middle, but he should get volume, and with the mobile quarterback, he should have room to go. Jalen Warren expecting an increased role, an easy matchup here. I think Gus Edwards has the safest floor of all of these players this week. I'm going to lean slightly with Edwards. If a lot of people love Jalen Warren. And again, on the series show, I went over what his numbers. He had that one long catch. Otherwise, his numbers are like way worse than Najee's. Look at the box scores and trust me on this one. But I'm going to say Gus Edwards here. But they're all so close. If you have a gut feel, go with it. And Instagram, let's see, Chris. Okay, so many. All right, King D Love, Lawrence or Russell Wilson. You know what? Russell Wilson, he had a first quarter where he had those two bombs. And then he had that Hail Mary he underthrew that went for a touchdown that should have been an interception or a knockdown pass. He's terrible right now. Trevor Lawrence is at home coming off a bad game. He's got an opponent who's normally great against the pass. They're down 2 corners and a free safety. I got to go Trevor Lawrence. Bob O'Brien, Burrow, or Russell Wilson. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Burrow may not play. And so if you got to make your decision, that's your only option. I just said no Russell, but in this case, a 0 against Russell Wilson. Yeah, Russell Wilson better than a 0. So unless there's definitive word on Burrow, yeah, I would say, you know what? I almost would pick up now the name of Avey, the backup. I'd pick up the backup for Burrow almost and consider that. Russell Wilson this week, you know, they're at Miami. Vic Fangio's defense. My God, he could throw 3 interceptions in this game. Yeah, Jake Browning's the backup, by the way. I had to think that through for a minute. I would almost take Jake Browning and then go Burrow or Jake Browning. That's what I would do. Or Baker Mayfield. If Baker Mayfield's in their waiver wire, it's a Monday night game. Then you could see if Burrow's active and you can go that route. Don't know if he's available, but he might be. All right, Jim Coop. PPR, running back in the flex, Jalen Warren, Roshan, Kendre Miller, Braxton Berrios, Kendrick Bourne, or Adam Thielen. So of those group, Roshan's getting more work, but he's getting a lot of receiving. He's not getting a lot of dump off passes. In Kansas City, they're probably going to trail big in this game. So actually, I'm going to say Roshan Johnson there, and then I'm going to go with Berrios as the flex. He's averaging about 4 targets a game, but Waddle's out, so he gets 6 or 7 in this game. And Denver's ancillary corners are awful. Damari Mathis. And I'd go with Berrios. I'd go with Berrios and Roshan Johnson there. Let's go Buffalo. Need 1. Puka, Flowers, Kirk, Judy. You know what? Yeah, I get you. I don't think you could sit Amon-Ra or Chase. I really wouldn't sit them. It's just they're superstars, you know what I mean? And both could go off at any time, regardless of situation. So I'm not going to sit there. I'm going to go with Puka as a third because, look, he's not getting the 35 targets in 2 weeks. But even if he gets 9 targets, 10 targets, he's schemed wide open all day long. Nobody's stopping it. So I'm going to go with Puka. And I love Kirk and I love Flowers this week. But, yeah, stay with Amon-Ra and Chase as well. Ward, Rentz, Baker, Pittman, Collins, Madison. Madison has a great matchup, but Pittman does too. And Marlon Humphrey's out, so that's huge for him. And Collins, again, I know Tyson Campbell's a good corner, but Collins is like a legit alpha receiver right now. Madison should be very involved. You can't go wrong with any of these 3. I'm going to go with the 2 more talented players. I'm going to go with Pittman and Collins, and I'm going to base this one on talent. So I'm going to go. If you have a gut feel for Madison, then definitely consider him. But I just think Pittman and Collins are really seeing heavy target volume right now. And next one here, we have T. Drake, Collins, or Christian Kirk. Again, Kirk had a great week last week. Collins did as well. Middle of the field should be a very available spot with the free safety Petrie out for the Texans. They both are excellent plays. But I think the probability of Collins seeing more targets, I think he's more of a lock to see more targets than Kirk is. And so this is 51 to 49%. It's that close. So if you have an idea, you go with that. It's funny. We have a little sponsorship with, we call them Trophy Smack, and they'll do the start sit one. So once a show, I'll try to do this. But we'll go A, B, and we will go with the Trophy Smack says Nico Collins. But for what that's worth, that's the coin flip if you needed a coin flip. All right. Carlos Godinez. Jalen Warren or Garrett Wilson. Again, because New England's down 3 corners, I am going to go with Garrett Wilson because I don't think they have the bodies to do what Bill Belichick wants to do. We're going to go with that. And John, the guy, Drake London. I think I answered this one. Drake London or Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is your floor play. The boom bust one is Drake London because again, we just don't know when he's not going to see targets because of the run game. Ezra Fine, McLaurin or Zay Flowers or Pierce. Pierce, he's down with 4 linemen again, so we'll move him out. Flowers is going to see a lot of targets. There could be some weather impact. Check that before kickoff. So I think that Flowers is a good floor play. Terry McLaurin, though, my goodness, he gets it done, and they're gonna trail Buffalo most likely, even though they're playing at Washington. Now there could be weather impact in that game too. And so here's the thing, and I don't know what this tropical cyclone's going to do because there's been no definitive report. The last report was it shouldn't be too bad, but if you check the weather and it's going to be an issue, I'd rather go with Flowers with the short passes than McLaurin with the downfield stuff because the weather would impact the long plays a little bit more. I think Flowers is safer. And I'm going to go with Flowers here because I think the matchup all along was one where he was going to do well. McLaurin is hard to sit, though. So, again, if your gut says McLaurin, trust it. John, DJ Moore, Tyler Lockett. So I think Carolina is going to bring some pass rush this week, and the 2 tackles out for Seattle, I think that's a bit of a problem. DJ Moore showed us last week what he's got, and Lockett played great too. But I think, again, my gut says that Justin Fields shakes off the coaching staff and he gets the ball out and he gets it to his guy, and DJ Moore is a great play. But we saw in week 1, there's risk. So if you want the safest play, Lockett is always safe. He can get you to 50, 60 yards. But I don't know. It's a big game here. And I know that the cornerback J.C. Horn's out, and that's going to hurt their whole secondary. But I think that loss of the 2 tackles is this week. It's going to impact them a little bit. And so that's how I'm looking at it. Now Seattle is at home. That helps. But I'm going to go DJ Moore, 55 to 45%. So there is a good chance Lockett does well too. Juan Carlos Castillo. Says, I think you mean Moss, maybe Kendre Miller or Jerome Ford. Ford is a nightmare matchup. Zach Moss played 98% of the snaps, and I don't love his matchup, but he's getting usage. He got 4 targets last week. Kendre Miller, you got good enough options where we need to see him on the field. We really don't know what he is at this point. It's all speculation. So I'm going to go with Moss there. All right, see what we got here. We've got go through here. Mandu Dubs. Flex, Hopkins, White, I assume Rashad White, and Michael Thomas. Hopkins, there were cryptic comments in the Tennessee newspaper about Hopkins just trusting Coach Vrabel's process, and I don't know that we're going to see him right away. So I'm a little worried about that. I think Hopkins is risky because of the injury. I think his ankle is not right. Rashad White, the middle of the defense in Philly is really a problem. I think if you're ever going to use him, this is the week 2. Michael Thomas has looked really good, but the Packer secondary is quite good. And we saw last week, Derek Carr, not quite the same guy on the road as he is at home. I'm going to give Rashad White a very slight lead here. And if you have a gut feel, go with it. All right, Trey, bite the bullet and start Geno over Burrow. Yeah, wow. I know. So Stafford. Oh, no, go Stafford. Take the Stafford one. Do that. Because Geno could be a fine game. They're at home. Like I said earlier, I think Carolina's going to get some pass rush. I think that could be a low-scoring game. So I just think go with Burrow, and then if he's not, you got the easy Stafford flip, and I think you're fine there. John, the Jets, D or Seattle. I actually think Andy Dalton can function this offense, and I think they have enough to do reasonably well. I love the Jets this week. I think that they're gonna. Everybody's saying New England's gonna figure out how to get at the Jets. I think it's vice versa too. I think the Jets are gonna figure out how to really mess with Mac Jones. So I'm gonna go with the Jets here. Ray, start 2, full PPR. Pierce, Kelly, or Warren. Kelly, I love this week. Easy matchup. He's gonna get 15 plus touches. He should be in great shape. Pierce is just down 4 linemen. And again, that's the problem. It's not he's a good running back. He'll be fine. I think Jacksonville on the road, I think that's a rougher opportunity. I am going to go with Warren slightly over Pierce here because of the catches he'll get. He'll get catches, and that'll do it. But Pierce will come around. It's going to be soon, hopefully. JKM, hey to you as well. Non-PPR, Garrett Wilson, George Pickens. So Pickens has as good of a matchup he's going to have. The Raiders have 1 pass rusher. It's Max Crosby. I think they can deal with and live with that. I think that's not a problem. And otherwise, I think it's a really good week for him. Garrett Wilson, like I said, New England's down 3 their top 5 corners. That's a problem for them. They're both very talented players. I think Pickens gets going here, but if you have a gut feel for Wilson, fine. But I think George Pickens is in a better spot this week, and he'll see the targets. Remember, no Deontay Johnson, right? And then Juan Carlos Castillo, DJ Moore, Watson, or AJ Dillon. You heard me talk about DJ Moore, and I do think last week he got it going. I think they're going to keep going to him. I'm going to go with DJ Moore. Watson is close, but coming off the injury, since you have a player who's great like DJ Moore, I think you give Watson a week. You wonder if they're going to turn him loose on deep routes just yet and how that works. Kyle, happy Sunday to you too. When I start Tony Jones over Herbert or Dubs. Tony Jones, no, Kendre Miller will be starting this game. Tony Jones, I was looking at that. He has 80 career carries, 2.6 yards per carry. He fell in the end zone twice last week. It was good fortune for him, but he is like a practice squad level running back. And I just don't think overall, I don't think we want to trust him over a player like Herbert or Dobbs, both of whom can make plays and are good NFL players. So we're going to go with that. Good question. Let's see what else we got here. Bray Pylon, sorry if I said it wrong. DeAndre or Joshua Kelly. Again, I'm just nervous about DeAndre Hopkins' ankle, and I think that's where it stops. I think he's not 100%. Kelly has a great matchup. Dingo Eater, Breece Hall, or Josh Kelly. It's a big Josh Kelly week. Again, I think it's a great opportunity. He's an authoritative runner, and that's all you need to do. It'll be we know that Minnesota's probably going to blitz, but that's going to leave room open in the middle of the field, and I'm going to go with him there too. And all right, let's see what else we got here. Jacksonville or Seattle defense. Now this one I'm going to go Seattle because I think if Houston trails, man, CJ Stroud with no lineman is getting it done. Totally getting it done. And I think he keeps getting it done. All right, Brent Murphy. Start 2 running backs, Breece, Sanders, Javonte, Pacheco, or Roschon Johnson. All right, so we're going to go with Sanders. I think Seattle is not a bad matchup at all, so he'll be fine there. Second one, Pacheco, although he's dinged up, he's healthy, and they're playing the Bears. The Bears can't stop anything. So we're going to go with Sanders and Pacheco there. All right, you could Breece Hall and Javonte are certainly live here, but I think you're good there. Ty, good morning to you as well. Traded a second for Warren. Today's question. Chiggers. Conquo, you mean? All right. Or Higbee. Higbee's just not getting looks. And I know Chiggy isn't like loading it up either, but at least Okonkwo has a chance to make a big play. Higbee really doesn't have that. And the offense is so centric around Tutu and, of course, Puka right now. I just don't think Higbee's a factor in it. So I'm going to go with Okonkwo for the opportunity. He has a better chance of making a big play. Jack Scardino on Instagram. Madison, Mostert, or Josh Kelly today. You need an RB2. I'm going to go Mostert here. We saw that Mike McDaniel's willing to give him a lot of work last week, and he did. And he has a fantastic matchup. Denver can't stop anybody playing in the Miami Heat. The defense is going to wilt even further. I'm going to go with Mostert there. And Anthony Miraz, good morning to you as well. Do I play Kendre Miller? It really depends. If you have an established player with a reasonable floor, you know what you're getting. You do that. Kendre Miller is a complete unknown. He missed so much camp, so much early season time with injuries. We don't know what his playing game shape is like. There's just more questions than answers there. And then Watson or Goff, Chargers fan, good question. I think Watson's going to run quite a bit today, and he has a phenomenal – he had 2 tough matchups. The weather in Cincinnati in week 1, both of those, and then week 2, the Pittsburgh pass rush. Goff's at home. Goff always lights it up at home. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown's dinged up, so there's that. But Watson's going to run, and I think he runs for at least 40 yards, and for me, that offsets a lot of passing yards. You can't go wrong with either. This is a true coin flip, but I'm going to go with Watson because I think he's going to run a lot today, and Tennessee is going to struggle covering. And then Manda Dubs, Flex, Hopkins, White, or Thomas. I think I answered that one for you already. I think we went with White in that one. D3G, Tutu or Zach Moss. You know what? Zach Moss is a decent floor play, but Tutu's got 7 and 9 targets, and I don't see that changing here. I think Tutu's your play there because I don't know what kind of upside Moss has at Baltimore. And And then we had Ant Lack as Zay Flowers of flex, 100%. They get a lot of short passes. There could be some rain. There could be some wind. I think we're looking at that as a great opportunity. Brent Murphy, Kincaid or Ferguson. Ferguson could have had a second touchdown last week. Dak just missed him in the back of the end zone. They're playing Arizona. Buda Baker, their safety, is out. Ferguson is a real part of that offense. Kincaid is getting targets too, but they're not like big time targets. They're not like downfield stuff. He's not like Knox is the primary guy in the red zone. The way that Dak is looking at Ferguson in the red zone, and they're playing Arizona, they probably are in the red zone a lot. I'm going to give Ferguson the nod here. Dirty money. Terry McLaurin or Brian Robinson. Robinson's playing really, really well. Now, Buffalo is showing up against the run this year, which there's that. I think game script here. Buffalo is, in my mind, they're probable to get out to a lead. And if they do, I think that really hurts Brian Robinson's volume. And I think McLaurin has to see more targets as a result of that. I'm going to say if you think Washington at home is going to make this close the whole way, if you think that's the case, then you go Robinson. I think it's a bigger lead for Buffalo, and McLaurin has to be to play. Tom, welcome as well. Cousins or Herbert? Oh, man, how do you go wrong? They're the same game. I'm going to go with Herbert because what's going to happen is we saw last week they're going to run some blitzes, but I think the Chargers line can hold up. And then I also think that when they drop players deep, they're happy to take Keenan Allen underneath, Gerald Everett underneath, whatever's underneath. And I think that Herbert is going to come through, and it's a really, really big game, bigger for the Chargers than the Vikings. The Chargers legitimately have playoff hopes. Cousins, he's in a great spot too, and this is a coin flip because they both you would rank them very close to each other. But I just think that maybe the coaches have actually come up with a decent game plan for once on defense. So I'm going to barely go Herbert, but it's super, super close. Jay, thank you, man. Appreciate you very much. Oh, yeah, and if you could hit the like and subscribe button if you're on RotoWire, YouTube, would greatly appreciate it. And if you also are on Twitter or X, if you give me a follow at Jim Coventry NFL, I'd be eternally grateful for that. And you can connect with me there as well. All right, Jay, what do you got for a question here? I know, reluctant about Jamar Chase. I get it. Chase, DJ Moore, Mike Williams, you have great options. Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison. I don't see the downfield game getting going here for Jamar Chase right now with the quarterback being iffy and Jake Browning being the backup. So if you feel inclined to sit him, look, you got great DJ Moore. He should be set up for success today. Mike Williams against a bad pass defense. Really, even Flowers or Addison. Flowers gets more targets. So of the last ones, Flowers would be your floor guy. But I think I would just play Chase over Flowers. And Addison, he got 2 coverage breakdowns or misplays for his touchdowns. So I'm going to go DJ Moore, Mike Williams, and Jamar Chase. That's what I'm going to go because I don't think Flowers has the ceiling to make him an easier play over Chase. And I think Addison, he's just kind of living on that edge right now where if he doesn't get the coverage breakdown, what happens? And all right, let's see what we got here. Pray. You got Adam Thielen or Hopkins. Oh, man, that's a tough one. So if Hopkins is active, that's where I'm drawing my line. I'm starting Hopkins over him. We saw last week, he still got enough targets. I know Thielen cashed last week, but he can't get open. He gets no separation. And I think Andy Dalton is going to see, well, DJ Chark does. Jonathan Mingo does. And I don't think Andy Dalton feels the need to force feed Adam Thielen. I think that Bryce Young did feel the need because he was an underneath guy. All right, let's see what else we got on Instagram. Should I sit Chase for like Pittman? So that one we could justify because Pittman's getting that target share where his floor is probably higher than Chase's right now. And I don't know that we see a ceiling game from Chase. As long as you don't kick yourself if Chase goes off, Pittman is probably the smarter play. All right, what else we got here? John the God, Elijah Moore, Drake London. Again, I think we answered before. Elijah Moore for safety, London for boom bust. Jay Red, appreciate you. Ertz or Njoku. Look, Ertz is going to see targets, right? They're playing Dallas. He's going to get a lot of underneath junk time, garbage time. He's going to get some targets. His floor is better. Njoku, we're playing Tennessee, who's horrible against the pass. I think the offense has to lean into the pass with no Nick Chubb. So I think that Ertz gives you that safe floor, but no ceiling. But I think Njoku should get enough here to have a reasonable floor, but a much higher ceiling. So if you just want that safe 10 PPR points or 8 to 10, go with Ertz. If you want to go somewhere in the 5 to 15 range, then I think you go to Njoku because Njoku could go off here. Johnny Football, Cole Kmet or Jake Ferguson. Again, I said I like Ferguson earlier, but Kmet is their middle of the field guy, and he's getting a lot of targets, and they're probably going to trail heavily here. So I'm going to say Cole Kmet here because his target quality is better than Ferguson's right now. Ferguson's getting targets, and he did have another red zone one last week. He scored, and he missed the second one. But I'm going to go Cole Kmet there for the safety of it. And all right, let's see Instagram questions. Taysom Hill or Sam Laporta. Look, Taysom Hill, we never know when they're going to utilize him heavily, but Sam Laporta has been used. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is limited with a toe. He has a steel plate in his shoe. So we are going to say Laporta is safer. And I don't know that Taysom Hill's ceiling is so high that we're going to put him over him. J. Red. Nice. You need 2 running backs in a flex. Gibbs, Connor, Mike Williams, Algier, and Damian Pierce. So you need 3 of them. Gibbs supposed to increase usage. He had 7 targets, so you're going to go with him. I know Connor is a bad matchup. He's been getting it done every week. Whether they have to throw to him, whether they run him, that he could fall in the end zone. I don't want to sit him, and I want to play Mike Williams. I'll always love Algier. Now, if you feel that Algier is safer than Connor here, go ahead and do it. But I do think in PPR, Connor he'll be out there. And I think at some point, Dallas could just get so far ahead. Connor could get some garbage. Pierce is down 4 linemen. He'll be fine in a couple weeks, but right now in a tough matchup, not so much. Kyle, what do you got here? Sutton or Josh Reynolds? I'm going Josh Reynolds. Outside is going to be a fine opportunity. Atlanta. I know they got good cover corners, but Josh Reynolds has a chemistry with his quarterback. The groin injury doesn't worry me. Sutton, very concerned. They're playing against Vic Fangio's defense. There shouldn't be anything downfield. Uncle Ted, good morning. Good to see you. I'm always glad to see you, Uncle Ted. You always show up, man. Thank you. Let's see what here. We had that one already. Santana, should I start Devontae Smith on Monday? I know the injury. We don't know, right? I always say try to get a player from another Monday night game. If he doesn't play, Olamide Zaccheaus, same team. He'll get some targets because Quez Watkins is out. So you could just hedge there. I don't know how deep your league is. Tutu Atwell's taken in a ton of leagues, but maybe your league he's not. Tutu Atwell would be a good pivot from a Monday night game. And that would probably be the only ones. But I would wait on Smith unless there's definitive word he's out, but I would start him otherwise. Ezra, McLaurin, Zay Flowers, or Pierce. So Flowers is your safe play. He's going to get a lot of short passes. Maybe weather impacts that game. I'm going to say Zay Flowers. And I think actually, because McLaurin, I don't like the Buffalo matchup so much. So I'm going to go with Zay Flowers there. Johnny Football, Robert Woods, or Mike Williams. You know what? Mike Williams is okay last week, and they're playing a horrible pass defense in a game that should shoot out. Woods is getting targets, but I don't know how much ceiling he has. Mike Williams has a similar floor to Woods, but I think his ceiling is greater, and we haven't seen the ceiling yet. I think it's coming. I'm going to go with Mike Williams. Terry McLaurin or Michael Thomas? Oh, man. Michael Thomas, it's a tough matchup for him against Green Bay. I'm going to go with McLaurin there. McLaurin is heavily enough involved. Michael Thomas is reasonably involved, but it's a tougher road matchup. And Derek Carr is not the same on the road. DI3G, Brian Robinson, Zach Moss, or Tutu. I'm going to sit Zach Moss out of that group. Moss is a tougher matchup against Baltimore on the road. Tutu's getting targets, and Brian Robinson's been a big part of that offense. And Shy, Nico Collins or T. Higgins. Ouch, that's a tough one. They're both getting targets. Tyson Campbell should see a lot of Nico Collins. I still think Nico Collins was a wonderful play. But T. Higgins, even if Jake Browning's the quarterback, he has such an advantage against the Rams cornerbacks. It's 50-50. I'm going to go T. Higgins because, again, I think he benefits from the Burrow injury more because he's the one that's like the grinder, the possession guy when he needs to be, a little more than Chase who could do everything. 50-50. I'm going to go Higgins. If your gut says Collins, I get it. Joseph, Kirk, Garrett, Wilson, St. Brown, Nakua. You only can start one of them? Oh, 2 of them. All right. St. Brown has a plate in the shoe. Garrett Wilson's up against the team down 3 corners. Kirk has a great matchup against Houston. They're down their free safety, and Nakua is just seeing a ton of volume. Oh, man. I don't ever want to sit on St. Brown because he could go off. I don't know how bad the toe is. Logically, I'm saying Kirk and Nakua. But from knowing St. Brown, even a plate in the shoe is St. Brown, I'm going to say Nakua and St. Brown for that. So you got to Garrett Wilson, I think in this case, even though I think it's a compromised New England defense, I think your other options are so good that you're going to be good with Nakua and St. Brown. But if you are worried about St. Brown's toe, you can pivot to Kirk. Uncle Ted, oh yeah, Uncle Ted loves that. Roshan Johnson, he might get a lot of targets today. I mean, it could be a big game for him, right? And Jim Pacheco, Hubbard, Roshan, or Kendre Miller. I'm going to go Roshan here. The target should be there. Hubbard's targets last week mostly came in the garbage time at the end of the game. And Kendre Miller, we haven't seen him. We don't know. And Green Bay is not a terrible matchup, but I think we're going to say Roshan's going to get targets here because they should trail. All right, let's see what else we got here. Man Dubs, I answered that one already. I believe it was White and two off. Amari Cooper. Yeah, no, Amari Cooper's fine this week. Great matchup, alpha target. Great game last week. He continues to roll. Christopher Lopez, D Hop or Hollywood Brown. Not a great matchup for Hollywood Brown, but D Hop's ankle is bad. There's no question. He was compromised last week. He got some catches. I mean, Hollywood's going to get targets. And if the game gets out of hand, he could be okay if Dallas backs out a bit. I'm going to go Hollywood Brown 51-49, but it's all because of Hopkins' ankle. I just think it's worse than we're letting on. Joseph, Stevenson, Gibbs, Moss, or Kelly. I'm going to put Gibbs at the top of the group there because I do expect him to have a little more work with Montgomery out. I'm going to put Kelly second because the matchup is beautiful. They're going to blitz a lot. They're going to play deep, and there's going to be room underneath, and the offensive line is good. I'm going to go with Stevenson 3, as much as I love Stevenson, but I'm going to go to him 3. The Jets are going to be a beast on defense, I think. And Chris, I think I answered that one for you already. And let's see what we got here. Selective error, Kendre Miller. Again, depends on your options if you really are stuck. Logic, Hunter Henry, or Freiermuth. Freiermuth is a great matchup this week. And so he's had a couple tough ones so far. So I think we're going to look at Freiermuth. Now, Henry has been great. And I think you can get the Jets in the middle of the field. But at some point, when we think we got Belichick's teams figured out, they go to something we don't want to see, and the bottom's going to come out. Henry's a great player, and if he was with a stable coach for offense, I'd go with him. I'm going to go with Freiermuth in an easy matchup here because I think he gets back involved in the offense the way he should have been all along. Uncle Ted, I do think if Fields shakes off the coaches, I do think they can have a big game here. Nick Bolton, the speedy linebacker, is out for Kansas City, and that's bigger than we think for a mobile quarterback. That could be a big deal. JKM, non-PPR, Kirk, Addison, or Mike. I'm going to go Mike Williams. The game is supposed to shoot out. I don't have any respect for the Vikings secondary, and it's not like they can sell out on Mike Williams, and they got Keenan Allen as well. I'm going to go that way. Eric, Woods or Hopkins. I don't trust Hopkins' ankle. Woods getting the target volume. I'm going to say that we stick with Woods. AKA Bash. Great. Thank you. Joshua Kelly or Gus. Love Gus as a player. Tougher matchup. You have Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner on the inside. They're tough to run on. Joshua Kelly has a great matchup here, and he's going to get volume. I'm going to go with Josh Kelly. And, Uncle Ted, I know Jake Ferguson has a good matchup. They're playing. He gets those red zone targets. We love that. Ray Trill as Ertz or Freiermuth. Ertz has that 6 catches in each game. If you just want a floor play, 6 for 30, I think Ertz is fine for that 9. Freiermuth, I think, has a little more ceiling here. He has a better chance of scoring. If you want safe, go Ertz. If you want a little more upside, but risk a little, maybe 4 catches instead of the 6 that Ertz gets, then Freiermuth. That's the way to look at that one. All right. See what we got here. NPG. 3, Javonte, Breece, DeAndre Swift, Tyler Algier, Jerome Ford. All right, so I don't know what DeAndre Swift's workload is going to be. I know that they purposely didn't use him a lot in week 1, and then they had to use him in week 2, and they did. I think it's somewhere in between, and he can make a big play at any time, and the matchup is not scary. Tampa used to be a great run defense, not so much. I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift as 1. Tyler Algier. You know what? Detroit compromised linebackers. I think they can, with the size packages they run on offense, I think they're going to be able to overwhelm them. I'm going to go with him as number 2. And I'm going to take Breece Hall as number 3. I think he can get a big run or 2 against New England. Ford is a nightmare matchup. Javonte has just been meh. I love him as a player, but the results are just meh. And I don't think we're getting more than that. Anthony, Zay, Flowers, or Lockett. PPR. Flowers is going to have a higher floor here because he probably gets you 7 or 8 targets in this game underneath. But, Lockett, we talked about him earlier. I mean, The tackles are missing, so the downfield stuff may not be there. But Carolina's without J.C. Horn, which is huge at corner. I think Zay Flowers has a great floor, but I think if you want to go a little more boom bust, if you're willing to risk a lower floor, but with potential for a higher output, then you go Lockett. But the safe play is Flowers for sure, and he should have a high floor in this game. Instagram, I answer that one. Urchin Firemuth and Dalton D, James Cook, Madison or Kelly. Love all three. They all have beautiful matchups. I really think James Cook is special. I think in this offense right now, there's always free yards before contact. Washington is a really good pass rush, but I think you can run them. I think the linebackers can get compromised. You can't go wrong with any of those three. They're all fine choices. I'm going to give the nod to Cook because I believe Cook is special in this offense. Ace, T. Higgins, or Nico Collins? Somebody asked a similar question earlier. I think Higgins is safer. He's the possession guy. They're gonna have to go to him. I think it's a big deal. Nico Collins has had 2 great weeks, and I think he's gonna be a great player this year. Jacksonville, Tyson Campbell, a little tougher of a matchup. I think T. Higgins is safer here in this case. So I know he has a 0 on his books. I know that. But I think they're going to have to lean on him. And the Rams secondary isn't scary. If you have a gut feel on Nico, definitely go with it. Love Nico Collins. He's running like an alpha receiver. He's schemed into space. Very, very good player. I can understand you playing him. I'm just going to lean Higgins 52 to 48%. And WTF Mendoliola, Laporta. I'm going to go with Laporta because Amon-Ra's banged up. And I think that means there will be a couple more targets from Taysom. We just never really know the workload. Anthony Thomas, Mahomes or Goff. I think I answered this for somebody earlier. We're going Mahomes. Goff's great at home, but Mahomes is Mahomes, and the Bears don't scare me. And I think Christopher Lopez, I may have answered that one. We're going with Hollywood Brown there. I think we're going to go because D-Hop, I think, is hurt more than we know. Ty, Pierce, or Warren. Again, Pierce is down 4 linemen. God bless him. He's trying hard, but he's just not getting enough yardage. Warren's supposed to get a little more work in the matchups easy, so I'm going to go with that. Joe, Jacoby or Gabe Davis. This is a close one. Oh, so you have Stephon Diggs already, and I think in this case, they both see similar target volume. Pittsburgh's, they're going to get the pass rush, so I mean, Jacoby's going to get his short catches. Jacoby's your floor play. I think he's going to get you like 4 for 60, 4 for 50. I think you're going to be fine there. Gabe Davis's floor is lower, but with Washington, they're going to send that blitz. And if something breaks downfield, Davis has the big play. I think I trust Jacoby a little more. And I think the fact you have Gibbs, I think diversifying here maybe not be the worst idea in this particular game. Delroy, Cook, Edwards, or Algier. We're going to sit Edwards. Love Edwards. I think he gets a decent workload. But again, I think that Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner on the inside make it a little tougher for him. Love Cook. Algier is always going to get decent volume, and the matchup is good for him. King D Love, Gus Edwards, or Algier. We're going to go Algier here. Just had a similar question. Raindrop, Barkley's out. Should you play Warren, P. Ryan, or McKinnon? I think we do go Warren here. I think he sees enough work in an easy matchup where he gets done. McKinnon's kind of beat writers said, and I believe this, they're going to use him sparingly till the middle of the season, wrap him up for the playoffs. P. Ryan always could punch you in a touchdown. I'm going to go with Warren there. Joseph, Hunter Henry, or Hayden Hurst. We're going Hunter Henry here. Hayden Hurst, I think, won't be. In week 1, Bryce Young really had to get it out to the tight end. I don't think Andy Dalton needs to do that here. I think Andy Dalton can play the playbook, and there's not much of a pass rush, so we're good there. Uncle Ted thinks Parham goes for a couple touchdowns. He certainly can. Juan, half PPR flex, Jerry Jeudy, or one of these from your bench. Sky Moore, Tank Dell, Jalen Warren. Jerry Jeudy didn't have a great first, but he's coming back from injury, right? And I think there's something to be said for that. And they're playing Miami, and Miami will give you the underneath stuff. They will. So I think this Jerry Jeudy does well in the game where Fangio just doesn't want to give up big plays. So I think that works out. All right, let's see what else we got. Any other instas here? And let's see here. Jalen or Ford. Ford is a nightmare matchup against Tennessee, and Warren's going to catch some passes. So I'm going to go with that. The real DJ Scrap. Rams defense or Dolphins defense. Definitely want the Dolphins defense here. The Dolphins are going to really gives confusing looks for Russell Wilson, and I think right now he can make some big mistakes here. Jules Ortiz or Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell, Zach Moss. All right, Tank Dell is a solid play, but I think Garrett Wilson's in good shape here. New England's down 3 corners. I don't think they can do what they want to do defensively to stop him. So I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson there. And Brian Pope, good morning to you as well. Full PPR, Garrett Wilson, Sky Moore, Josh Reynolds. Yeah, just kind of said, I think with the 3 corners out, I don't think that Zach Wilson's not going to see near the level of pressure he saw from Dallas. And I think that they're going to be force feeding Garrett Wilson targets. Reynolds is a little dinged up. Sky Moore, again, he had the long catch, but we don't really know what his role is. I mean, go with the superstar here. I think Garrett Wilson gets it done for you. Chris Lopez, I think we answered that one for you, right? Answer. Timothy Johnson, Nico Collins, or Garrett Wilson. I'm going to go Nico there. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nico Collins here. Like I just said, Wilson painted a positive case, but Nico Collins is playing like a star, and I think against Jacksonville, he gets enough done there. Robert, good morning, good to see you. I'm gonna go Otten over Higbee. Middle of the field is a very weak point for Philadelphia. You can totally attack them there. Their outside corners could make it a little more difficult on Godwin and Evans. So I think that's the one. And Higbee, just you know what, it's been all Puka and it's been all Atwell, and Higbee's been the losers there. Oh, yeah, G Money, thank you for I always appreciate you. And please, if you can like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it greatly. If you give me a follow on Twitter at Jim Coventry NFL, would really be grateful to you for that as well. Sports Spotlight. If Aaron Jones doesn't play, move to Kyren to do so, Josh Reynolds or Kirk. So you move Kyren to running back. So then, all right, I'm going to go Kirk over Reynolds. Kirk, middle of the field, should be in great shape for him today. Reynolds a little dinged up, and I think, we're going to go Kirk for that reason especially. And if you got Kyren or Christian Kirk, definitely go. I think Kirk's going to in for another good game here. As I look through this game, Houston's down their free safety. They're down a couple corners. They're really hurting. And I think that they're normally a great pass defense, but not today. All right, let's see what else we got here on Instagram. Ola Ricardo, sit one, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, or Jamar Chase. Wow. That is a tough one. I'm going to, you know what? If you'll know the inactives, they're both Monday night games. If Burrow is active, I'm playing A.J. Brown and Chase. If he's not active, then I'm going with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. That's a great question. All right, I think I got you, Sports Spotlight there. Nancy, you've got 2 or 3 here. You got Lockett against the Panthers, St. Brown against the Falcons, or Puka against the Bengals. St. Brown has a plate in his foot, and Puka's getting the volume. And right now, it's Sean McVay. He's schemed open, and Stafford is humming. And I love Lockett every week too, but I think Puka's volume. I think you play Puka here. If St. Brown didn't have a plate in the shoe, I would say St. Brown easily. But Puka's getting the volume, and right now I think you got to ride him. Brian, you got Kelly, Williams, Javonte, Najee, Kyren leaning. If you're leaning Kyren Williams, then go Kyren Williams. I would give a slight edge here to Josh Kelly because I believe that Minnesota. Again, if they're going to blitz, I believe it's going to leave a lot of second level open. They're going to move back defensive backs. I think there's a lot of second level runs. But if your gut says Kyren and he got 10 targets last week, then definitely go with your gut there. Trust it. Jim Coop, revised question. Running back and a flex. Warren, Roshan, Kendre, Berrios, Bourne, Chark. All right. I personally love Chark this week. Andy Dalton will throw to his outside receiver. He was back last week. Chark was. Bryce Young is not going to be a good fit for him, but Tariq Woolen's supposed to be out in this game. He's doubtful, and there's no pass rush. I think Chark gets going here, and I do also you need a running back. I am going to go with Roshan. I think Roshan's going to catch a lot of passes this week. Julian, Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell, Zach Moss. I think they may have answered this. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson there because the corner's being out. All right, let's see what else we got here. Browns or Ravens defense. I am going to go with the Browns defense here. Ryan Tannehill is going to be in a little bit of trouble here. And you're welcome, Ola Ricardo. And let's see here. Chris Sanchez, Warren or Ford this week. Oh, that's a break point one. Ford is a nightmare matchup. Warren's supposed to get more work, and it's an easy matchup. I think Warren gets more targets, and I think that's what gets you there. Ford will be great most weeks. I just don't like playing my running backs against Tennessee unless they're a superstar. And Jackson Craig, McLaurin, or Michael Thomas. I'm going to go with McLaurin here. Thomas does not have a great matchup, and on the road, I don't think we like Derek Carr as much. Ace, Higgins, or Nico, I think I answered that for you already. Robert, Fields, or Prescott? 6. So here's your deal. Prescott's going to get it done. He'll have a great floor for you. I don't know how they need to call off the attack after a while. I personally think that Fields is going to wave off the coaches and just do his thing today, and I think he's going to be fine. Fields has a way higher ceiling, but what we saw the first 2 weeks was not good. So if you're nervous about that at all, you play Prescott. I think Fields comes back this week. I think that is a tough matchup, but I think they're going to fall behind. I think he's going to run Nick Bolton's out, their fast linebacker. That really helps Fields on the ground. That's what I would say. Tony, Laporta or Jalen Warren? You know what? Amon-Ra has a plate in his foot, so I think Laporta gets a couple extra targets here. I like Laporta. Courtney, you got flex, Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore, or Warren. I think what we saw from DJ Moore is the beginning of what we're going to see. I believe that hear me say about Fields a second ago. I believe he's going to shake off the quarterback. He knows he has DJ Moore. I just think he's going to say, screw it. I'm getting you the ball. And I know the matchup's tough. Love DJ Moore here. Good question. Tingus, Miles Sanders or Gus Edwards? Normally love Gus Edwards, and with Justice Hill out, it's even better. But running interior against Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner, that's tough. Miles Sanders, you know what? He's going to get volume here. And I'm going to go with Miles Sanders here. I think overall, enough volume. And Seattle's not traditionally a good run defense. If they sell out to, they're okay. I don't think they're going to sell out to stop it here. Modernheim, you got Damian Pierce or K. So hopefully you re-asked it. Oh, it looks like you did. Herbert or Khalil Herbert. Oh, man. Roshan's going to be in a lot of passing downs if they trail quickly. Pierce have a better floor, but I don't know how much. I'm going to go Khalil Herbert because he could break a long run. Pierce is down 4 linemen. When Pierce gets his lineman back, he's going to be a running back 2 every week. It's just unfortunately not right now. All right, what else we got here? Andrew, Madison or Algier? All right, Madison is a great matchup this week, and I think next week he's not the running back. I think he's going to be the backup, but this week he's the starter. He's going to get a lot of volume. It's a phenomenal matchup. I'm going to go with Madison here. Henry Master Barber, when I play Kendre Miller in the flex, if all of your other options are unproven players, guys that you don't know, guys that don't have a floor, then yes. If you have reasonable players or floor, we just don't know what Miller is yet at this point. And all right, let's see what else we got here. And Dotson or Jalen Warren in the flex. You know what? Warren's going to get increased work. It's an easy matchup, but Dotson, they're playing Buffalo. They're probably going to have to throw. I'm going to lean Dotson 60-40 because I think they're going to have to throw more. The game script's going to be against them this week. Kevin, need 2 in the PPR. All right, Garrett Wilson, you need upside. Zay Flowers, DJ Moore. All right, well, if you want upside, here are your 2. Your 2 receivers are flex. DJ Moore, definitely upside. James Cook, I believe he's a playmaker in this offense. And the other upside play, I believe, would be Zay Flowers because Houston's down 2 of their top 3 corners and a safety. Those would be your upside plays. Blake, Pacheco, or Javonte Williams? I'm going to go Pacheco. Bears defense just not good. And Javonte's splitting up a lot of work. I think Pacheco has big play potential. Thing is, Sanders or Gus Edwards? You went with Sanders on that one. I think we answered that already. Cam Daddy, are you starting Gabe Davis over Garrett Wilson? No, because the 3 of the top 5 corners are down for New England. I don't think Bill Belichick has the flexibility to do what he needs to do. And I don't think he has the insane level of pressure package that he would like. He gets pressure, and he's going to get decent pressure, but I think they're going to get the ball out to Wilson a lot here. Freiermuth over Pitts? Yes. You can't trust Pitts, right? If Pitts goes off, God bless him, but you can't pick those weeks. Gabe Davis over Ford for me because Ford is a nightmare matchup. And I probably would lean Gabe Davis slightly over Hollywood Brown. It's a brutal matchup with Dallas there, too. Uncle Ted, I should wear a suit jacket. I got to think about this. I know I'm not dressed up like a slob, but I have my RotoWire gear on. That's what they give me. The RotoWire gives me like gear, but some of it's nicer, but some of it are t-shirts. Shakis, you've got, I'm going to go with Joshua Kelly over Moss. Love Moss, but Kelly's matchup is great this week. Arginus, Cousins or Hurts? Oh, man. Cousins probably has a big game here, right? But you got Jalen Hurts. And Tampa Bay's defense, a little overrated. They had a soft schedule to start the season. I'm going to go because Hurts is going to run and Tampa's going to blitz. And I think with, AJ Brown, I think there's some big plays downfield. I think Hurts busts the blitz with some runs. You can't go wrong with either. They're both great, but I'm going to go with Hurts here. I'm going to go back to Hurts. Hurts ran it up well last week. I know his numbers haven't been good so far, and Cousins has been off the charts good. If your gut says Cousins, go with it. I just think this is a good get right week for Jalen Hurts. All right, let's see. Your Kung Fu says need 3 wide receivers. You gave me 3 here. I'll just order them for you. I assume Marquise Brown or AJ Brown. I assume it's Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown 1, DJ Chark 2, Parker 3. Love Chark this week. Kirk or Drake, London. I am going with Kirk here. The Kirk probably has a more stable target floor. Matchup is great for him, so I think we're in good shape there. King Love, Algier over Edwards. On Instagram, we get a few questions here. Madison over Algier. We have Josh Allen or Tua. Because Waddle's out, I'm going to go Josh Allen there. Bills or Steelers defense. I'm going to go with the Steelers defense because Jimmy G doesn't handle pressure well. G. Tumani. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. Kyron Williams and Breece Hall. PPR, I'm going to go with Kyron Williams. Aaron Jones is out today. Thank you for telling me that. That's a very important intel. All right, very important. Ford, Warren, or Kelly. Let me see here. Oh, EY. You go with Josh Kelly. Easy matchup for him here. Rob Kelly, torn here. Pick 3 to start. Kelly, Warren, Gabe Davis, Chuba Hubbard, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is now out. All right, so that helps us out a lot here. We are going to go with one. We're going with Josh Kelly here for the floor. If you want a boom bust play, it's going to be Gabe Davis. All right, Tom, Lockett, White, or Higgins. Yeah. I still think Higgins gets a lot of work underneath. If you got Rachaad White, though, this is as good of a matchup he's going to get. Philly is very weak up the spine. I think White is your floor play. Lockett's always good play, but the 2 tackles out. If there's pressure, it might cut back some of his opportunity. I'm going to say White is probably your boom bust play. I think he's got a ceiling here, but he's Rachaad White, and he could lose work to Sean Tucker. I think Higgins is your safest, but I get it. Even if Jake Browning's, I think Higgins gets a lot of targets. I think he's the one that's going to keep seeing work. Instagram, I only got 8 people on here. I'm going to go through quick and just see Najee. I'm going to go quick, and I'm going to go back to just the Twitter and YouTube. If you want to come over, you can. Najee versus Gainwell. I am going to go Najee here. I think that he's going to be, his yards per carry been fine. And Theron, we're going to go with Roshan Johnson. You get a lot of targets today. Chris Sanchez, Joshua Kelly is going to go for you. Michael Cass, we're going Najee over Gainwell and Dillon. And Nico Collins over Lockett for Jeff Connell. And Elijah Moore over Tank Dell, but it's close. Our Rye Levy, we're going with Gus Edwards over Zach Moss. He might fall in the end zone. Browns or Jets D, we're definitely going with the Browns here. Jets are real close. GM Parisio, we're going Elijah Moore over Tony. And Jared McCavin. Yeah, I still think I like the Browns the best. The Jets are close. And I answer that one. 2-2 over Javonte Williams for John Nectix. Chargers fan, Gus Edwards. We're going to play Algier over Gus Edwards for you. And A.J. Dillon, I'll tell you, I project him for, even with Jones out, I project him for about 48 yards and a 50% chance to score. So base it on that. Answered that one already. All right, if any Hurts or Lamar, wow, that's a tough one. You know what? I'm going to go with Lamar here because the matchup looks good, and if the weather's bad, he'll still be okay. And we're going Okonkwo. This is for EC Dubs. We're going to go with Okonkwo over Higbee and Taysom Hill. And we're going to go with Kirk over Atwell. The matchup's great. And anybody who is still on Instagram, I need you to come over to RotoWire YouTube, and we'll finish up there. All right. Let's see. We got to sail through a bunch here. All right, good. We got a lot of questions, so we're going to fire through these fast now to get us rolling here. Dak or Goff? Goff at home is money. Dak has a high floor too. Amon Ra's a little limited. I'm going to actually say Dak 51-49, but it's super close. We got to go with it. Would I bench DK and start Addison? If you're feeling frisky, because DK has a rib injury, it could get aggravated, and maybe he doesn't go downfield as much. It could be aggravated. So I would say that would be fine for that. Joe, welcome. Frostbite. Judy, Godwin, Jack. All right, I'm going to go with Godwin here. They're playing Philly. I think they'll move him into a slot a little bit more. I think we're going to go with him because he had a couple touchdowns that were missed last week. He was right there. He's a big part of that offense. Judy, great player, but we're still kind of figuring out Russell Wilson. JSN just not getting it. And Frostbite, thank you. I hope you're having a great day as well. Good luck. Drew 311. Henry or Freiermuth. You know what? Henry's getting great volume. He's getting end zone looks. I think Freiermuth is a great matchup this week. We never know what Henry because of his coach. Henry's a great player, but his coach never consistently used him. Freiermuth's a staple of that offense, and I think he finally has a good matchup, and I think he gets it done. If your gut says Henry, go with it. Christian, you need 2 running backs in the flex. Madison, Kelly, Javante. So we're going with Nico for sure. And then you need 2 running backs. So we are going to – Madison is a great matchup. You got him this week. Use him. Kelly has a great matchup as well. So we're going Kelly, Madison, and Nico. JNK, PPR, Moore, Reynolds, or Gainwell. Moore. Which more? Elijah Moore, maybe? I don't know what Gainwell's role is going to be right now, and that gets me a little bit nervous because I don't know if DeAndre Swift, took work from him. So right now, I'm going to say Elijah Moore gets a lot of volume, a bad pass defense. By the way, if you're on RotoWire YouTube, please consider hitting the like and subscribe. I would appreciate it greatly. If you can give me a follow at Jim Coventry NFL on Twitter, would appreciate that. I have a lot of work I share all week, answer a lot of questions during the week there. All right, Rodney Brewer, start 3. Brent Raheem. Brent, I don't know what Brent is. Raheem Mostert, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, or Devontae Smith. You're starting 3. All right. Devontae Smith, the injury, if you're worried about the injury, then you've got to kind of just push him to the side. We don't know what his injury status is. If you don't have another player, you're forced to sit him. But otherwise, I do put him at the top of the list. Outside of that, then it's Mostert has a great matchup. And I would go, I don't know who that Brent is. That's the problem with the question. So I'm going to order them this way. I'm going to go Mostert, Jacobs, Devontae Smith, and Miles Sanders. But if you're worried about Devontae Smith not playing, you're kind of forced there. Miguel, Pacheco, Mostert, Breece Hall, or Elliott, you need 2. Pacheco, great matchup. Mostert, great matchup. We're good there. Ted likes stashing Luke Schoonmaker. All right. Alex, good morning. Dotson or Michael Thomas. I think Dotson, they're going to have game scripted. I think they're going to trail Buffalo, and Michael Thomas is a tougher matchup this week. So I'm going to give Dotson a 60-40 edger. The Joker, Madison or Jerome Ford. Ford is a nightmare matchup. Madison has a very easy one. He should have volume. I think this is the week to play Madison. Mario, Trevor Lawrence at Ridley and Olave. I was wondering if you should start Mike Williams or Christian Kirk. Can't go wrong with either of those. I think Mike Williams has the better matchup of the 2 because Minnesota is not going to have anybody to deal with him, but you can't go wrong with either of them. I will lean Mike Williams 60-40, but if your gut goes the other way, I get it. Josh Stevenson or Cook. I am going Stevenson here. Stevenson should get enough work. I'm not excited about the Jets matchup. He probably gets some targets, which helps. I just don't think Cook has enough to go with that to challenge him. Ken Flott, Scott Fishbowl, Hunter Henry, or Juwan Johnson or Higbee. Of those 3, and I do love Juwan Johnson, but the receivers are really getting a lot of targets. Hunter Henry, you never know week to week, but I do think you can attack the Jets in the middle. I'm going Hunter Henry. Higbee's just not getting the targets because of Puka and Tutu. Ray, Watson doesn't play. Full PPR. Flex. Pierce, Reed, Tank Dell. I'm going to go Tank Dell there. He's getting a lot of work. They're probably going to trail, and he's in the slot, and that's an area you can attack. Rodney, start 3. Raheem, Jacob, Sanders, or Devontae Smith. We sound like we may have answered this one already. Start 3. So Smith, it's all about the injury. If you're worried he doesn't play, then you clearly got to bench him. But otherwise, I would say at this point, Josh Jacobs is catching passes. He may stink, but he's catching passes, and there's that. So I would put Sanders as the one that I would put between Sanders and Devontae Smith. Drew, looks like I answered that already. Jerry, half-point PPR. Nico Collins. And Nico Collins is their alpha. He's going to see a lot of work. Roll with him. Gus, love Gus, but it's a tough inside matchup against Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner. Guy, Do we put in Najee and or Nico? I'm going to go with, again, Nico, I think right now is emerging as an alpha there, and CJ Stroud is locking in on him, and the routes he's running, Bobby Slowick's getting seen in the space. I'm gonna go with Nico there. Look, Connor, I love James Conner, but it's a tougher matchup, and I think if I got Nico, I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with Nico. Mark, half PPR need a flex. Mike Evans, Brian Robinson, Christian Watson, AJ Brown. You need one. I'm going with AJ Brown because I think there are going to be a lot of the blitz from Tampa, and I think that Jalen Hurts is going to be able to challenge. And look, two outside corners, Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, are very good. They're not AJ Brown good. So I'm going to go AJ Brown to big plays. Courtney said flex. I'll have to see what else you had, Courtney, for that. Hopefully I screw up and miss your question. If you had, go ahead and pop a question back in there, Courtney, if you still got it. Lockett or Nico Collins? We are going Nico Collins there, primary receiver there. Delroy, appreciate you, man. And Drew, I think we answered you already. Brendan, Zay Flowers or Nico Collins? Flowers didn't get a lot of volume, but so does Collins, and Collins has more big play potential, so we're going Collins. Blake, which wide quarterbacks would I start? Stafford, Fields, Russell Wilson, or Pickett? All right, I do think Fields shakes his coaches off. It's a bad matchup. I think he runs Nick Bolton's out. If you want the safe play is Stafford. Stafford is a safe one. He's on fire right now. Everybody's schemed open, so we got that. But I personally would start Fields because I think he is a big game. But if you're nervous about that, then go Stafford. Taylor, I got to go Laporte over Pitts. I can't trust Pitts right now. Laporte is getting targets. Amon-Ra's banged up. Flex PPR for Adam C. Flex PPR, Pierce, Sutton, Reed, or Tank Dell, or if Christian Watson plays, start him. And by now the inactives came out. I just don't have access. I'm rolling through these questions. If he's in, you play him. If he's not, I think we're going to go with Tank Dell in the middle of the field. Damian Pierce, great player, but they're down 4 linemen. That's a problem. Sutton, I don't like the matchup. Nico over Gus, Jerry. I think we answered that for you. And Drew, we answered that for you already. Andrea, good morning. Tom, Moss or Hall? Oh, man. I love Zach Moss, and I advocated him hard last week. I just don't like the matchup at Baltimore this week. I'm going to say Breece Hall there. Fantasy Football Mad Science Lab, our rest of season flex. Andrews, Hall, or Aaron Jones. Have Kelsey and can't put Andrews, the rest of season flex option. I'm going to say Aaron Jones. Andrews is super close. But Aaron Jones, once he's healthy, which hopefully is next week. But he's going to play at a high level in this offense. Joe, 2 wide receivers on flex: Olave, Allen, Addison, Kirk, or Puka. Can't sit Olave. I know they're playing Jair Alexander, but he's a superstar. Allen has a beautiful matchup, and then that leaves you with one left. I'm going with Puka over Kirk and Addison. Kirk is a great matchup, but Puka's getting all the targets. Courtney, you got flex. McCoby, Jalen Warren, or DJ Moore. I think we answered that earlier. We went DJ Moore. Nathan, Amari Cooper or Michael Thomas? Going with Amari Cooper. Is Jair Alexander out? That's interesting. But I'm still going with Amari Cooper because Cooper's going to see the targets. He has a super easy matchup. Pittman or Pitkins? Pittman's getting a lot of volume, and Marlon Humphrey's out. We're going that way. Andrea, Connor, Sanders, or Mostert? I love Connor every week in PPR, but Mostert, he got usage last week, and he has an easy matchup. Denver's horrible. I'm going to go Mostert, but if you have a gut feel on Connor, I endorse that all day long. Brian, Gus Edwards or Najee Harris? Gus is a tougher matchup here. Indy's interior is good. I'm going to go with Najee. Rob Kelly, pitcher Zach Ertz. Man, Ertz is catching 6 balls a week. If you need a boom bust, it's got to be Pitts. But if you just want to say bank 8 points, 10 points, you got to go Ertz. YouTube user Chase, Flowers, DK, or Collins. Need to. DK's banged up with ribs. I'm going to trust Chase. I know he's had 2 bad games, but they got to figure out even to throw screen passes to him. I'm going to go Chase and Collins. Flowers has a good floor this week, but I'm going to go with the other 2. Andrea, St. Brown, Olave, Devontae Smith. So I don't know if Devontae Smith's playing. If there's no definitive word, your other options are good enough to go with St. Brown and Flowers. If you hear Devontae Smith's playing, I would play him over St. Brown, who has a steel plate in his shoe. Joe, Connor at Warren. I'm going to go Connor here. Connor should get enough work, as much as the others, if not more. But if the game gets out of hand, I think he gets it done. Drew, I think we answered that for you already. Jaime. But if the game gets out of hand, I think he gets a double. Nope, he's not. All right, Higgins or Pittman? All right, see what we got here. Oh, it looks like we got a super user here. Foxborough News. Connor or Pacheco, Olave or Nakua. All right. So appreciate using the super user idea here. And we are going Pacheco over Connor. Good matchup. Should have plenty of room to run. Olave or Nakua. Man, you know what? Nakua's getting the targets. Olave does have a tougher matchup here, but I think, you know what? I'm not sitting Olave. Olave's a superstar. It's a 50-50. If your gut says Nakua, go with it. He's getting all the targets. But Olave is a superstar, and I just can't sit a superstar over him right now. But if your gut says that, go. But yeah, so definitely Foxborough News. That's the way we're looking. Pacheco. All right, let's see what we got next. And Higgins or Pittman. I'm going to go with Pittman. Pittman's getting the volume. And good matchup. Miguel, Pacheco or Breece Hall? We're going Pacheco there. Joe, we are going to go with Josh Kelly in an easy matchup here. Ty Robinson or Garrett Wilson? Again, 3 corners are out for New England. I don't think they can bracket down Wilson enough. I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. Miguel, we're going to go with, we're going to go with Zay Flowers or Hopkins, I believe, is injured enough to where he's going to be compromised. Lockett, again, the 2 tackles are out, so the pass rush could be a problem. Go with Flowers. Cam Daddy, Aaron Jones is out. Start A.J. Dillon over Ford. 50-50 on that one. I think that's a complete coin toss on that one. Dillon has been very inefficient with his work. That's been very problematic. So right now we're going to go with Ford. I'm going to go Ford here. Ford is a horrible matchup. I think, you know what? No, Dillon doesn't have, Hunt's going to be involved maybe. I'm going to go with Dillon. It's that close. The Smitty. Collins over DK. DK has banged up ribs, so I'm going to say yes on Collins. Ian, London or DJ Moore? We're going with DJ Moore. I think he's going to continue to get fed here. London, we never know if he's getting targets. Brooks. Watson, again, you'll know by now if he's active. I have no access. I'm answering these questions. If Watson is inactive, I'm going with Dotson. I believe game script works in his favor. Coco Baby, Cooper, Wilson, or Kirk. I'm going with Cooper here. Cooper should get high volume, and it's an easy matchup. Sauger, all right. You need 3. St. Brown, Collins, Devontae Smith. So if you're nervous Smith won't play, which is a possibility, I'm going to go with Pittman, Collins, and St. Brown. I just can't trust London right now enough to put him in over those types of players. If you think Smith might play, which that's the thing, it's a Monday night game. So I think it's a risk you almost can't take. I would play him over Pittman. But again, knowing if you don't know right now if he's going to play or not, then you got to go the other route, and you got to go with Pittman, St. Brown, or Collins. Ian, Ford, Javonte, Zay Flowers, or Garrett. Zay Flowers going to get his targets. But I think Wilson, down 3 corners in New England, I don't think they can take him away as much. I'm going to go with Wilson. But if your gut says Flowers, trust it. John, Algier or Hunt rest of the season? Algier, guaranteed workload. Hunt was declining last year. And I would keep Roshan Johnson over Kareem Hunt. I don't think Kareem Hunt has a lot left. Chris, Reynolds, Gibson, Charbonnet, Khalil Herbert. I am going to go with Antonio Gibson here. I think it's a bad game script. I think he had 48% of the snaps. I think you'll see more passes than he did because of the game script. Jerry, Collins, Edwards, or Tutu. I'm going to go with Collins here. He's their alpha right now. Ian, we are going to start Wilson and Pickens. Again, Flowers. If you have a gut on Flowers, take him over Wilson. I'm going to go with Wilson and Pickens. Chris Williams, Higbee, Chiggy, Okonkwo, or pick up Taysom Hill. We were going with Chiggy, Okonkwo. Kirk, Rodney, we're going to go with Kirk over Hopkins. I'm worried about Hopkins' ankle. Jason, Sanders, Javonte, or Pacheco. We got to go Pacheco here. Pacheco has a great matchup against the Bears. I think he has plenty of room to run. John, Ramondre, and we're going to go Pittman here. Big target volume. Marlon Humphrey's out. I think that's very helpful there. Clutch follower. DJ Moore or Gabe Davis. We're going to go with DJ. I think he's going to continue to see the volume there. Mike or Michael Thomas. If you need a second one, I'm going to go with Gabe Davis over Thomas. I think Green Bay is going to be a little tougher, and Derek Carr's not the same guy on the road. Michael Lopez, Kyron, or Henry. Henry. Hunter Henry or Derrick Henry. If it's Derrick Henry, we're going Derrick Henry. We're definitely going Derrick Henry. We're going to trust him here. His matchup is very Cleveland's bad against the runs. We're going to go with that. Tua or Purdy. Purdy played Thursday night, so obviously you got to go with Tua there. Kyle Thompson, Breece Hall or Jacoby Myers. I think Breece Hall is going to have a game here. I think he can. And Jacoby Myers, those targets were because Surtain was on Adams in week 1, and that was the open look. So I think I'm going to go Breece Hall there. Ben, Trevor Lawrence, you need 3 receivers and a flex. Henry, Kyron, Puka. All right, Ayuk play. I'm confused by the question. Ayuk played Thursday night, but he was inactive. Cups. You got to you just give me restate the question. Just give me the players who are active and going. Give me the one choice. And I'd be happy to answer it for you. Jacob, Tony, Robert Woods, or Kendre Miller. We're gonna go Robert Woods 1 for his floor, 2 Tony for boom bust. Kendre Miller, we just need to see him play a game. IDK man, Pacheco. We're going Pacheco for sure. A great matchup here. Gus has a tough interior defensive line front he's facing. Joker, Taysom Hill. And Joker is a more stable role. We'll go there. Taylor, we're going Laporta, especially with banged up Amon-Ra. You might see a couple extra targets. Pitt's just too tough to call. All right, then go with Taysom. There you go. Perfect. Admiral, flex. Khalil Herbert, Michael Thomas. Yeah, I like that Jair Alexander's out. And I'm going to go Michael Thomas over Laporta here. Laporta's close because Amon-Ra's banged up, but Michael Thomas is playing well right now. Julian, Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell, Zach Moss. Again, 3 corners are out for New England. So I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. London or Shaheed. Oh, man. Shaheed, I love Shaheed. He's just like the targets suck for him. He plays like half of the snaps, and when they get him the ball right, Derek Carr's not the same guy on the road. I'm going to go with Drake London, but if your gut says Rashid, do it. Okudah doesn't scare me. He was terrible. I don't think he's any better than that now. Admiral, we not answered that already? Michael Thomas. Oh, no, maybe a different one. We're going to go with Michael Thomas. Laporta, close second. And I'm not going to trust Tony right now. Brian, good to see you. All right, what do you got here? You got Aaron Jones out. Yep, choose Pierce, Gainwell, or Jacoby Myers. And thank you for hitting the like and subscribe button. I really appreciate that. Pierce is down 4 linemen. Gainwell, now we're not sure what his workload is. So I just think Myers will see enough targets to give you a stable floor. Until I know what Gainwell's new role is after Swift broke out, I want to say Jacoby Myers here. Oops, actually, I a star here. And Josh Nelson, DJ Moore, or Higgins. I'm going to go with DJ Moore. I think he's going to get used heavily. Higgins, I'm still worried about the quarterback. I think he gets his possession stuff. And next question on the screen. Collins, Michael Thomas, Delvin Cook. I'm going to go with the receivers here. Collins is playing at a high level. Thomas is also playing well. Cook, we're not sure what his workload will be. John, Metcalf or James Conner. Metcalf has dinged up ribs. Conner has a brutal matchup. I think that Metcalf, though, could be limited with the ribs and he could suffer a setback. I'm going to say Conner's a little safer here. Nick, Kelly, Hall, Javante, Gainwell, or Warren start 1. You know what? Kelly has a really good matchup here. I am going to go with Kelly in this one. I think he can score 2. RB, 12 teams start 2 running back in a flex. Warren, Moss, Pierce, Pacheco, Bigsby, Flowers, Cortland, Sutton, 2 in a flex. All right, Flowers is in, Pacheco's in, and you need another running back out of this group. So I am gonna go with Moss. I don't like Moss's matchup, but he's gonna get a lot of the work and he's getting targets too. Mark, I think in this one we're gonna go with Kendre Miller. I think he gets more work than P. Ryan gets, and so I think that's what we're gonna base it on. We're gonna go Kendre Miller there. It's the unknown. It's the complete unknown, but I think he gets more work because Tony Jones is like a practice squad talent. Ertz, Laporta. You know what? Laporta's getting enough work to put him over Ertz for me. And with Amon-Ra banged up, and you know what? Pitts right now, I just can't trust his workload. Matt, Robinson, Kelly, Flowers, or Kirk, you need 2 running backs. So you have 2 running backs on there. So you're set. Oh, no, RB2. Robinson looks great. Kelly has a great matchup. I am going to go with Kelly there. It's close. If your gut says Robinson, go with it. I'm going to go with Kirk over Flowers because they both have a high floor, but I think Kirk is a great matchup. There's down multiple defensive backs in Houston. John, Pitts against Detroit or Higbee. I am going Pitts here. Higbee's just not been a part of the offense. It's been a real problem because Nakua and Atwell are getting all the targets. So I'm going to go with Pitts there because I don't think Higbee has enough of a ceiling to merit it. Chris, need a non-PPR. Musgrave. I love Otten this week. Middle of the field is so easy against Philadelphia. I think they'll attack there. I like that. J. Red, Eagles are the Ravens defense. Ravens are at home against the Colts and Gardner Minshew. That might do it for me. That probably does it for me. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. IDK, Edwards, McLaurin, Nico Collins. We are going Nico Collins there. Dubs or DJ Moore standard. Going with DJ Moore. He should have another big game here. Geno, Deshaun Watson. Geno's still without his 2 tackles, and I think Carolina and Brian Burns can bring a pass rush. Deshaun's going to run a lot today. Kelly or Ford? We're going with Kelly. Ford is a brutal matchup. Miller or Mims? You know what? Miami takes away the deep play. That's what they do with Vic Fangio, so I'm going to go with Miller. Jerome, Tank Dell, or Jacoby Myers? You know what? They're gonna trail Jacksonville. I'm gonna go with Tank Dell here. Myers got a ton of targets in week 1, but it's because Devontae was wrapped up by Patrick Surtain. I think there's more for Devontae. I'm gonna go with Tank Dell. Higgins or Pickens? Oh wow, that's a real tough one. I think Higgins gets enough targets to guarantee him a floor in this one. They're gonna have to end on the nothing scary with the quarterback matchup. Pickens is a great matchup too. If your gut says Pickens go, I'm gonna give Higgins a slight edge. Wilson or Prescott? I'm going to say Prescott here. I don't trust Wilson, especially against his Miami defense and Miami Heat, too. It's going to be hot out there, humid. Zabby, Edwards, Hall. You need one of those. I'm going to go Breece Hall. I think he can have a game here. And then a flex, Flowers in London. And I'm going to, you know what? Flowers is a really high floor. I think he gets a lot of short passes here in this game. And so I'm going to go with him for that reason. Chris, Dylan, Dell, or Warren. We're going with Dell here. Dylan, I think it was about 50 yards. I know Aaron Jones is out. Warren, look, he had that 130-yard catch. If you look at his box score and you see him on the field, he's not doing anything. He has that one catch. So I'm going to go with Tank Dell. I think he's going to be used heavily here. Kirk, Kelly, or Flowers. We are going with Kirk here. He has floor and upside here. Sean, Pitts or Goddard. We're going with Goddard. Goddard got the targets last week, and I think you're back, and they're going to be able to attack Tampa in the middle of the field. Dr. Roberto, Olave or St. Brown. We're going with Olave. Brown is less than 100% with the toe injury. Olave, I do think gets it done here. Jair Alexander is out, which that is good news for him. We're going to go with Warren over Kendra Miller because too much uncertainty with Miller in that situation. David, you've got half-point PPR, 2 running backs and 2 flex. Ford, Suttons, P. Ryan, Cook, Kincaid, Hall. Wow, it's a lot. 2 running backs, 2 flexes. So players we like in this group. Breece Hall, we like Michael Thomas. Of this group, Ford is a nightmare matchup. So I'm going to say Dameon Pierce in this case, and I'm going to say Dalvin Cook as well. Those are the 4 we're going to go with. All right, so it's the last 4 you listed, except for Dalton Kincaid. Nick, need 2 of the 4 running backs. Rashad White. All right, we are playing Rashad White because of the matchup and Josh Kelly because of the matchup. Ford is a tough matchup. Moss is a tough matchup. I'm not worried about the other players that Charger heavy. You get players that get you the most points. That's what we're going to go with. Full PPR, Swift, London, and Gainwell. I don't know what that role in the Philly backfield is. Nobody knows for sure. But right now, Swift doesn't need a lot of carries to get it done. So I am going to say we're going to go with Swift. And then if I'm going with Swift, that means I'm going with London because Swift's gain would be at the expense of Gainwell. Michael, appreciate you. Who do you drop for defense? I would drop Kendra Miller for the defense because Kamara comes back next week. Oh, you know what? You're right. I'm thinking this week. Madison, you need Madison this week, use him. But you're right. I think Akers takes that job easily. So that said, yeah, Madison, I do think he doesn't take that job. Yams, ETN or Mixon? I'm going to go ETN here. I think ETN has a great matchup. He can clean up Mixon. I think the Rams could compress the defense. All right, YouTube user Chase, DK Collins, or Flowers. You know what? Wow, it's tough. DK is the bruised up ribs. I'm going to go with Nico Collins here. It's close. DM. I got to answer these fast now because we're at, let's see. Yeah, these are going to be like lightning round because of the time before kickoff. I got to get you guys answers. Where did I leave off at? Oh my gosh, so I not have it. I got to find this where we're at real quick here. Give me a second to find the question now. Lost it on my sheet. I'm gonna have to work backwards to the bottom because I think I can't find it. DK had Gabe Davis or Chris Olave. Oh, there it is. All right, so I found it. We are going Olave over Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis, Garrett Wilson. We're going Garrett Wilson, 3 corners out, no PPR. We are who sits on this group? We are sitting Jerome Ford, Akron Trading Company. YouTube users, I think we answered this already. You need 2. We answered that. Well, you need 2. It's gonna be. Let's go with Collins and Flowers. So we're going Collins. No, we're going Collins and Chase. We're not going to say Chase. Collins and Chase. Daniel, we are going with the Cleveland defense. Matt, Christian Kirk. We're going with Christian Kirk there. Floor and upside. Chris, Higbee, Chiggy, Hill, or Kate Otten. You know what? Love Kate Otten this week. Middle of the field's compromised for Philly. Nick, DK Puka, Addison Robinson, pick 2. We are going with Puka, and we are going with Addison because DK's ribs are messed up. Robinson is tougher matchup. Wade, London, Woods, Cooks. I don't trust that Cooks is fully 100%. I know he's playing. I'm going to go with London and Woods. Filmington. A.J. Dillon has a higher floor in this one. We're going to go with him. Alex, I just never know how they're going to use Taysom Hill. That's the problem. If I had any idea that they were going to use him, so that's the only thing. They could. I just never know. Stafford or Fields. Look, Stafford's safer. I think Fields is going to come out this week. I think he's pissed. I think he's going to run. Nick Bolton's out. Receiver, Collins or Cooper. Oh, man. They're both great plays. I like Cooper better. I think they're gonna fly all over the defensive secondary. And Myers or Kelly. I'm going to go Kelly. Kelly has a higher floor this week. Spencer, Dylan, Drake, London, Zay Flowers, Swift, Pacheco, or James Conner. You need 1 flex. The safest of them is Zay Flowers. I'm going to go Zay Flowers. Chase, Godwin, Flowers, Collins. We are going Godwin and Chase. John, Ramondre, Javante. I'm going with Pittman there. Oh, sit 1. We're sitting Javante. Full. Again, I just never know what they're doing. Taysom Hill. I'm going to go to Njoku. I'm going with Cooper over Flowers. He'll be the alpha in this one. Akron, who sits forward, Madison, Pittman, Tua, Barrios. We're sitting forward out of that group this week. Inflective, Brees, Pickens, London, Reynolds at flex. We're going with George Pickens. Good matchup here. Geno or Russ. We're going with Geno here. Russ has a real bad matchup, I think. Garrett Wilson or Kirk. I'm going to go Kirk here. Kirk has floor and ceiling. White, Harris, Ford, Kelly, Sutton, Kirk. 1, 2. So you need 4. 1, 2, 3. How many did you give me? You gave me 6. I'm sitting 2. Sitting. Let me see. I'm sitting Ford in a terrible matchup, and I am sitting Sutton in a bad matchup as well. I'm going Delaware. I'm going with the Cleveland defense. I am going to go with Brees Hall over Steve. I'm going Brees Hall. Mark, I'm going to go Kendre Miller. ICY Legacy. Oh, man, that's a real tough call. They both are going to be heavily used. It's a gut call. I'm going with James Cook. I think that he's going to be a big part of this offense. Pittman could have a great game, too. It's close. Michael, I'm going, oh, man, Madison's a great match. I'm going with Kirk. I think Kirk. Michael, if you want a floor play, though, Madison has a safer floor because he's going to get a X amount of touches. I do think Kirk has a floor this week, but I think he has a ceiling. I prefer Kirk, but if your guts is Madison, go. Ricardo, we are going Prescott over Wilson. And then Ricardo, we are going, let's see, Swift, London, and Gainwell. You need a running back. So we're sitting 1. We're sitting Gainwell there. Shane, we have start 1 flex. We're going to go Jordan Addison in a likely shootout. And then Foxborough News, thank you. Before I saw that we got you in there. Appreciate you for being a super user. Alex, no injury designation for Devontae Smith. So whoever had Devontae Smith questions, play him, put him at the top of the list. All right, and let's see, John, Ramondre, Javante, or Pittman. You know, I'm going Pittman there. I am going Roshan Johnson over Quentin Johnson as a flex. Just Quentin's not getting work. Swift or Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is safer because we don't know what Swift's real role is. But we are going to say, and Christian Watson is out. Excellent. Thank you for telling me that. So we are going to go with, Swift for the boom bust play, but if you want that safe, solid play, you go with Miles Sanders. Watson, thank you for telling me that. Matt, Kirk, Kelly, or Flowers. Yeah, again, I think Kirk has a big game in him there this week. I think his matchup's great. Brian, Pierce, Gainwell, or Myers. I'm going this group. I just don't know what Gainwell's work's going to be now because Swift went. I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers there. Pierce is missing 4 linemen. Justin, PPR, Herbert, Craig Reynolds. All right, I'm going to go with Herbert because Reynolds may not get as much work as I thought. They're talking about upping the rookie Gibbs' work. Zeke Elliott or Kenyon Drake. I am going with Zeke Elliott here. There you go, Uncle Ted. DK Mitchell. Let's see. Devontae cleared for medical. That's awesome, awesome, awesome news. London or Addison. I just can't trust London's role, but Addison has a role. It should be a shoot. I'm going Addison. Brees Hall or Myers. I'm going to go with Brees. Matthew. Puka could be out Monday. If you're worried about that, which I don't think, I think anybody I heard, unless you heard something new, he's expected to play, and he had the same injury last week and he played. But if you need to sit him, then go Algier. But I would expect Puka to play, but that's just me. Puka, Chase, Amon-Ra, and Evans bench 1. You know what? Amon-Ra's injured foot. He has a plate in his shoe. I'm going to sit him. All right. Najee, Jalen, or Algier. You know what? Algier. They're going to run the ball. I don't know what to expect from the Steelers' backfield right now. Tyler Algier, at least I know he has that role. Janky, don't overthink it. DJ Moore. Brian, we're going to go with Roschon. Should see a lot of targets. Uncle Ted, that's a tough one. Parham just doesn't get enough consistent work. He's the wild card. Schultz will get you 3 catches for 40 yards. Parham could get 0. He could get 2 touchdowns. So I'd say safe would be Schultz, but I don't think he has any upside. So if you're going to roll the dice, Parham just doesn't get enough unfortunate, consistent work. Griffin, Sanders or Brian Robb. I'm going to go with pick Zay Flowers. He'll get a lot of volumes. Charlene, good to see you here. Good luck to you. Tell me how Texas did. I hope they won for you. Akron, odd man out. Ford, Madison, Pittman. We're going to sit Ford. Bad matchup. Puka, Chase, Amon-Ra, bench 1. I think, did we answer? No, we didn't answer this one here. Amon-Ra is the foot. Admiral, you're welcome. Sam, DK. We're going to go with Pittman here because Metcalf has some dinged up ribs. Janky, we're going to go with Joshua Kelly here because he has a favorable matchup. Myers, we'll see if the targets are there again. DK Mitchell, oh my gosh, you need 4 here. Let's see. All right, players I like from your group. Gibbs for sure. I like Mostert this week. Devontae Smith is healthy now, and Nico. I love those 4. Amon-Ra would always be in that mix, but I'm worried about the toe injury. And so right now, but if you're going to play Amon-Ra, I'd play him over Mostert. So let's just say Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Nico, and Devontae. That's the way I'd go there. Gabriel, Addison, Josh Reynolds, Wilson, or Dotson need 1. I'm going to go Addison. Shootout game. Probably sees a lot of targets. And Jed, Gus said, you know what? I like Gus. The matchup isn't great, but he'll get it. He could score. Go with Gus and feel confident. He's not going to have a huge game, but he could get you 60 yards and he could find the end zone. Uncle Ted, Roschon, Michael Thomas, Quint, or Ford at the flex. Michael Thomas, Jair Alexander's out. Roschon's 2. Ford is 3 and Quinton's 4. Elijah, Kirk Cousins or Justin Herbert. It's 50-50. I do like Justin Herbert better here. But give him the underneath and he'll take it. Kirk Cousins could have the implosion. He probably won't. It's 50-50. But I'm going to say Herbert by 1%. All right, let's see what else we got here. Kanye, Puka, Chase. We are, because of the toe, we're benching Amon-Ra. Brandon. So we're sitting one of these players. We are 2, 3. We're sitting Amon-Ra because of the foot injury because we don't know what it is. The other players are all great. Jahan Dotson or Tutu Atwell. You know what? The more I think about it, Dotson's going to probably have game script on his side. I'm going to play Dotson. All right, Connie, I think we answered that. Matt, start 3. We're going to start Addison. We're going to start McLaurin, and we're going to start Judy in those 3. So, all right, Judy, McLaurin, and Addison. Guadalupe, 10 teams, full PPR, Aaron Jones out. Who you go? Javante, Connor, Edwards, or Madison. I love his matchup. Madison is, I think, the one you're going to go with. Madison's a great matchup. He may not have the starting job next week, but this week he should get volume and do well. Mostert or Ramondre, love Mostert's matchup. Denver can't stop anybody. Cole, Fella, Swift, Najee, or Gus. We are going to go with I know everybody's, you know what? Swift is your boom bust play. Najee's been effective. I know the media is making it sound like he's been effective. I think Najee is your floor safe play. I think Swift is your boom bust. You got it because I don't know what his role is with Gainwell back. I would be inclined to start Swift, but if you're nervous about his workload, Najee. All right, Bingham, 3. Cooper, St. Brown, Addison, or Zay Flowers. All right, Cooper, Addison, and because I'm worried about St. Brown's toe, I'm going to go with Flowers. Gibbs, I'm going with Gibbs. I think he does get more work here. Mostert loved the matchup, but I think Gibbs is going to see extended work. Guadalupe, I think we answered that for you. Joshua, let's see who we got here. You got Jacoby, Zach Moss, Dylan. I'm going to go Jacoby Myers over those. I do. Dylan is just not looking good. Moss matchup isn't great. Hall, Collins, or Pickens. I'm going to go with Collins. He's a true alpha, and I believe in him. I think Pickens is a good matchup too, but Collins is really in that offense. He's humming along. All right, Connie, we answered that one for you. Ricardo, London or Reynolds. We're going, oh man. Reynolds is dinged up, and he's not 100%. So I'm going to go with Drake London and hope he gets some targets. If you got a gut feel, I get it. Josh Reynolds at home has been money, but I'm going to go with London here again. Miller or Ford? Oh, man, Ford has a nightmare matchup. I'm going to take him over Miller. Miller is an unknown. We have no idea what he's got at this point. He missed so much practice time over the summer. Brandon, Olave, Amon-Ra, sit 1. We are sitting Amon-Ra because of the toe. Camden, Nico, James Cook, and pick 2. We are going to go with Nico and James Cook. Isaac, Atwell, Reed, Wilson, or Swift. So I think Garrett Wilson, they're down 3 corners. We're going to go with him. And we are going to go with Swift as the second one. Atwell's a close third. This is a super great question, one problem at a time. We are going with Kirk. I think has a higher ceiling. They both have good floors here. Admiral, I think the receiving back is Roshan. They're going to trail. So I'm going to say Gainwell on that one. Baker, Kelly, or Warren. We are going with Kelly. Great matchup. Connor, Pacheco. Pacheco has a great matchup too, so I think he's in better shape than Connor. That's close, 50-50. Javonte or Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams is getting the work, and volume is king in fantasy football. We're going to go Kyron Williams. Standard flooring, scoring, bench 1, Najee, Nico, or Ford. We're sitting Ford. Terrible matchup. Trevor Lawrence or Tua. Both are in great spots here. Denver's all kind of banged up on defense, and I know Waddle's on. I'm still going to go Tua, 51-49. Flip a coin on that one. Puka or Mostert. I got to ride Puka. The targets are going to be there. Lazy Bones, Robinson or Gabe Davis. We are going with Robinson's your floor play. I'm going to go with Robinson here. Davis it's too hard to call when he's going to get something rolling here. I think we answered that one for you, Rob. We're going to go Collins there. William. Tutu, Kendry, Gabe, I'm going to go with Kirk here. Kirk, floor and ceiling play this week. Skeeter, we're going to go Swift over Dylan. Dylan has not been efficient. And we answer that one, Rob. Madison or Kelly, both have great matchups. Madison can catch the ball better. I'm going to go with Madison. Ford or Zach Moss, we're going to go with Zach Moss. Ford is a brutal matchup. iVision, Stroud or Stafford. You know what? Man, love them both. Love them both. Stafford has just been playing at a super high level, but let's see. Stroud is probably going to trail. So you know what? Because of the garbage time, give me Stroud. Brian, let's go with Myers over Edwards. Tougher matchup. We went with Swift over Stevenson, Skeeter. Good, Charlie. I'm glad the Longhorns won for you. Very, very good news. Congrats. See you on the show tomorrow. Trey, redraft. Someone, Fields. Not in love. Yeah, definitely drop Brandon Cooks and stash Fields. Absolutely great call. Rick, need 2 for the flex. Amari, Higgins, Robinson must go with your receivers. Go with Amari and Higgins here. Cherdems, Garrett Wilson or Lockett or McLaurin. I'm going to go with McLaurin here. I think Wilson will be fine, but Lockett, I'm worried about the tackles missing. Nico Collins, Camden. Because again, those ribs concern me a bit. DK Kyron, I'm going with Gibbs here. I think he's supposed to have an expanded role, and I'm going to roll on him. Josh, you got Higgins, Collins, or Flowers. I'm going to go with Collins. I'm going to say Zay Flowers here. I think that he has a floor that's equal with Higgins, and I don't think Higgins has a whole lot of upside. No last week, but the more Burrow's limited, the tougher it is. We're going 2-2 over Dylan. We are going 2-2 over Jaden Reed. Big Ham, you're welcome. Dawson, we are going Higgins slightly over Pickens, but if you have a gut feel on Pickens, roll with it. Pittman, Higgins, Sanders. Now here we're going with Pittman. The volume has been huge. Admiral, you're welcome. Jed goes up big and sharp. It's possible. Yes, it is possible that you get him some work, but with the two tackles missing, the run game is compromised. Gus, Hall, Gus, Brees. I'll go with Gus. Go with Pacheco here. Pacheco has a great matchup against the Bears. I still trust St. Brown over Dotson because I think even injured, his floor is probably better. If you're worried about re-injury during the game, then go Dotson, but I'm going to say St. Brown. I'm going to go Swift over Moss here. Stephen Gibbs, the 2. Dubs, let's see, Tank Dell. We are going to take Pickens and Dotson from that group. DK, Jamar, Amon-Ra. Devontae's healthy now, so we are going to sit Amon-Ra because of the toe. Probably the best stash of these three is probably A-Chain because of the fragile nature of Mostert in his history. Hobby World, sit Fields. Should I sit Fields and T-Law? I would put Trevor Lawrence as a safer play. Fields could have real ceiling, but he's got real floor. So Lawrence is way safer. Zach Moss, tougher matchup. I project him for about 50 yards with a 40% chance of scoring a touchdown. He should get a couple targets, but it's just a tougher matchup. Do not sit Kelvin Ridley. No. Easy matchup this week. He had 2 possible touchdowns that didn't work out last week. Not his fault. He'll be just fine. He's a big play this week. Nancy, and I'm going to be done on Standard. Need to. We're going to sit Lockett out of this, Nancy. St. Brown does have the toe injury, but Lockett's the 2 tackles are down, so the pressure might come on Geno a bit more from Brian Burns and company. Puka, you got to play him right now. And DJ Moore or Tank Dell. DJ Moore, I think he is in a great spot to do well here. Hobby World, you're welcome. Everybody have a great day. Good luck, and we will talk soon.